Okay guys, I'm here. I just got home. I'm going to run the audio setup wizard, and I'm actually teaching from home today, so hopefully I have everything I need. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. We've still got like 2 minutes. Oh, no, I'm going to run out of power. Ah! How did that happen? Hang on. I might be one more extra minute because I got to plug in. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, you can hear the dog barking too. Just hang on a second. Okay, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay, guys, you know that my mom was sick, so I had to go there. So I'm just going to load up. I might be an extra 30 seconds or so to get online. Just let me do that. I'll be right back. Content, desktop. Okay, go lay down. Go lay down. Ah. Okay, I'm ready to go. Hopefully the dog won't bark, and I don't usually do this from home. I usually stay at school and do the course, so we'll see how this works from here. Might be kind of nice to get home once in a while early. So you're probably going to need a calculator today, and I hope you run your audio setup wizard so you know if you can hear me, because last day we had a few people that weren't. Put your hand up if you can actually hear me, please. Good, 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 good. Oh, everybody can hear me. That's awesome. You can put your hands down. Sorry guys, somehow my talk turned off. Is everyone hearing me again? That's creepy. All right, so, oh good. Okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I hit it or not, but suddenly my talk was turned off. If you see that again, just get me, again, I've got to actually let the dog out. Hang on. For goodness sake, you big old twit. Yeah. Okay, so I was talking about Mr. Fair and I went to dinner. Our bill came to $49. So if we leave a 15% tip, how much will we leave? So I can round that to $50 because it's just an easier way of figuring it out. And there's 3 ways I could figure out the answer. So the first one is proportion. And that means that, looking here, I know that if I had a $100 bill, I would pay $15. So I've got a $50 bill. So what am I going to divide 100 by to get the 50? Text or answer using your microphone. Stephen says 2. Excellent. So if that's the case that it's 2, then what I need to do is take my 15 and divide it by 2 as well. Now, this time, what's happening though is I actually get 7.5. Now we don't normally have a decimal and a fraction, but in this case, we are going to leave $7.50 for our $50 bill if it's 15%. Does everybody see that? Okay. Now, that's the first way of doing it. So I'm going to delete that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Good, good, good. And Manmeet doesn't for sure. Okay. So I'm going to clear that page off, and we're going to look at the other way, using the 10% benchmark. Okay, so you're thinking, well, the bill's 15%. How could I use a 10% benchmark? Well, let's think about that for a second. So I've got a bill that is, if I was going to leave a 10% tip on a $50 bill, what would it be? it would be $5. Now, why did I use my 10% benchmark? Well, because I like that one, right? All right, so now I have to figure out another 5%. So what am I going to do to the amount that I got for $10 for 10%? What am I going to do? I am going to cut that in half. So what is half of $5? Oh, Stephen got it already. He's faster than me. $2.50. So again, we see that our total, and sorry about the terrible quality. Oh, that's just ridiculous there. Okay, hang on. I got to erase that. I'm going to clear that off. Okay. I really wish that the keyboard would work for this, but it doesn't. So, all right. So we had $7.50 because we had $5 plus $2.50. I'm going to clear off that page. Now, using a calculator, what would we do? Using a calculator, what will we do? Anybody think? So our tip is 15%. So we're going to take decimal 15 because that is the decimal equivalent of 15%, right? Is decimal 15. And we're going to multiply it by 49. Or we could multiply it by 50 if we wanted to. If we wanted to be generous that day. This is the most accurate way of doing this if you've got a calculator in your pocket. So who's got a calculator and who's going to calculate what the answer is for me? 49 times, oh, already got it. It's actually our total tip would be $7.35. So if I was using the debit machine, it gives me the option of doing the tip, and it would have brought it up to $7.35. It's also a good way of checking on yourself. Okay, any question about those three? So that's figuring out percentage of a number. And that's important that you realize. As soon as we say we want to know 15% of 49, we don't make it a decimal, multiply it by the number. Okay, good stuff, you guys. We're going to move on. Any questions about that before we move on? No? If you're listening to this later on the recording, get your calculator and check out your answer there, make sure that it's right. All right, so people want to know why mental math is important for percentages. The number one reason I would say that it is for buying items on sale. So if I'm out shopping around, I've got some money in the bank, but I'm not rich. I'm not, I don't have tons of money in the bank. And I see that my shoes that I really like are regular price $59, but they're on sale for 40% off. Now, since I don't have a lot of money and I don't have my calculator with me, I got to be able to figure out, can I still afford these shoes? Because I have to figure out the 6% sales tax too. Because it would be kind of embarrassing to go up to the counter and then figure out I didn't have enough money. So how am I going to figure out what benchmark am I going to do? So Zach said I'm going to move my 59 to 60. Good for you, Zach. So I'm going to say at $60. Oh, pen, please. Thank you. So I'm going to say that I'm going to round those to $60 because that's pretty close. And now I'm going to say I've got to figure out 10%. That's right. So Zach says we want to figure out 10% of 60. How much is that? $10 of 60. 6. Now we know that we did that because we moved our decimal point back 1. There we go. 6.0 is 10%. So now that I know 10%, how do I figure out 40%? 10% is $6. And then every multiple of 10, we multiply it by 4 because 40 is a multiple of 10. Lots of times 4 is coming through. That's excellent. 6 times 4 equals 24, says Lauren. She's fast, knows her times tables. That's excellent. $24. Now, what is the $24? What does $24 represent in this problem? Good for you, Kai, by the way. Stephen says, of. So it means the amount off. That isn't the amount you're going to pay. That's the amount you're going to take off. So now you have to do another mental math in your head. $60 minus, say, $25 is going to be, or $24 is going to be $60 minus 25 is going to be 35. That's a heck of a deal for those, eh? Okay, so we're going to do 60 minus 25. And we're going to do the math. That gives us 5 and 6. Because I already borrowed 1. This is now going to be 5. That can be 2. That's 35 bucks. That's a pretty good deal. Now, you have to remember, though, if you're close to that amount, you got to figure out the sales tax, too. Now, sales per tax, goodness me, error. Sales tax is 6%. So, I need to figure out what it's going to be. So I've got $35, and my decimal goes right after the 35. Now, there's a way we can estimate this. Anybody want to know? Anybody figure it out? If I move my decimal here, that is 1/10. What if I move my decimal here? What is that? 1/100. I moved my decimal 2 places, so it now becomes 1/100. All right, that is 1%. So 1% equals 35 cents. What is 6% going to equal? Somebody's got to have a calculator there. So we're going to take 6 times decimal 35. I think that's going to be $2.10. Somebody want to check with me? Yes, haha, there we go. $2.10. So now the total that we're going to have to pay for that is $37.10 because we take our 35. I'm going to clear the page. So we knew that our shoes were now on sale for $35. Heck of a smoking deal. 35, nice 3, Mrs. Fair, plus 210. If I was at school, this would be better because lately I've figured out how to use my mouse, and the mouse actually does better than my fingers. So 35 plus 210. The total amount I'm going to pay for those shoes after tax is going to be $37.10. Now I know I can check my bank account, online of course, on my phone, or I might know how much is in my bank account. If I've got $37.10, and I'm going to buy those shoes because that's a good deal. Okay. Now the other time that you might need to do mental math that would be important, say you're going to buy a car or a truck. I just bought a truck. And they're a lot of money. So say I'm buying a car and I want to know how much money I can borrow from the bank. I have to figure out how much the truck is going to cost me plus the tax. Because the tax is expensive when you get a lot of money like that. Let's figure that out. So say I'm paying $30,000. That's about what a lot of cars cost these days. So I'm paying $30,000, and that's a comma, not a dot. $30,000, that's an awful lot. Someone figure out for me what 6% of $30,000 is. Okay, so it's 30,000 times 0.06. Anybody got that on their calculator? Okay. Did you do 30,000 or did you do 300,000, Lauren? Ah, there we go, Caden. Lauren, you have one too many zeros there. I think you had too many zeros in your question. It's $1,800. So in that case, I need to know too, if I'm on a car lot looking at cars, I need to know, 6% tax on top of that. That's a pretty important number for me to know. So $1,800 is how much the tax is. So how much is that car costing me now? That's right, Stephen. Everybody look at Stephen's answer. He's putting them in the chat. So when I say that's right, someone's usually put it in the chat because people don't like to use their microphones. It's $31,800. That's a lot of money. And so when you add another $1,800 on, that's enough money that you need to know that. So you're always estimating. When you're using percentages, it's one of the math things that you use all the time. When you're shopping, when your parents are doing their taxes, when you're doing percentages and for stats on someone, if they, if they're on the ice, there's a plus minus, but if there's shots on goal, the percentage of their shots go in that gets calculated. I know there's batting averages for baseball players. So every sport has stats that are based on percentages or on numbers. So that's why all of this stuff is pretty important. I'm going to clear that page and then we're going to move on. All right. How do we calculate the percentage of a number? So you might ask, okay, what do we need to do that one? Percentage of 30% of the students need to take the bus. There are 799 students. How many take the bus? Why would it be important for us to know this one? We've just got 2 minutes left. Any thoughts on that? Caden's typing something in. Good for you, Caden. How many buses we need? Absolutely. So how are we going to do this one? 2 ways, of course. The first one is 10%, which is 79 students. Okay, because you can't have 0.9 of a student. Or we say 80 students, so we could round this to 800. 800. And then we've got 10% would be 10% would be, not yet, I'm getting to that in a second. 10% would be 80, right? 80 times 3, 240 students would take the bus. You would need to have a lot of buses for that, okay? I'll leave the one on the bottom of the page for people doing the class so they can practice, but I want to get to the homework. All right, there's 3 questions for your homework today. First one is calculate 15% of 46. The second one is 22% of 59.99. And the very last one, 36 out of 49 is what percentage? Now most of you are going to remember that we can round to 50 and get pretty close. But to get this completely accurate, what we're going to do, and we've been working on this in class for a number of days now, where we take 36, right over the question for me, so I have to get rid of my pen and see, 36, and we divide it by 49. Nice division sign. 36 divided by 49. And you can use your calculator for this. So on these ones, particularly that I'm going to rewrite that. What you might want to know for the test that's going to probably come up towards the end of next week or early the week after is this. I am not right now figuring out whether you know your times tables or whether you know 36 divided by 49. Whether you know how to do basic calculations. I want to know that you can do percentage. So for a lot of this, I'm going to allow you to use your calculator. And your parents would do that too. So if they were trying to figure out the percentage of 36 out of 49, they're going to use their calculator for it. All right, so we use calculators for everything that makes it a little bit easier. So this is like we've been working on in class for the last couple of days. There were a few things on this, this PowerPoint we didn't get to, so we'll get to those on Friday's class. All right, as soon as you've got those copied down, you can go. See you later, Manreet. Bye, Jasmine. See you, Lauren. Kaden. Bye, Aubrey. Have a nice day. And thanks for helping me with the labels this afternoon. You doing okay, Lexi? Oh, I bet you can't type, eh? Oh. Kai, how are you doing? Oh, Lexi's gone. Good. I'm glad. You're getting this okay? Excellent. Don't forget to sign out as soon as you've got it copied. Bye, Kai. Have a good night.